John, after the three Pirelli World Challenge GT titles, what was the mindset with the new car going into 15?
Oh boy, we knew we had a huge challenge, to develop the ATSV. One of the strengths that we had with the CTSV was lots of data, and for all the tracks, and so getting to learn the car, struggling through failure after failure, knowing that she had an athletic feel, but again, not just on the chassis, but the engine, the development of that. There were a lot of things that we had to work through, like a fire. And but you know what? The one thing is the car from the first time I drove it had a great feel. So in my mind, I don't think anybody. Maybe I definitely thought, if we get lucky, we can win another one. But that was me just being an optimist. But as we started, when we rebounded after that fire, I was like, man, we can make this happen.
Now that gets to another point. You coming in this year looked like the level of competition for the GT class with Beretta and Davison, Estre and those guys. It was definitely going. What were your thoughts behind that? You knew you really had to upgrade the program?
I loved it. You know what? Yeah. I loved it. And in the previous years, there's been 3 or 4 guys or teams that were tough that, you knew, okay, it's going to come down to us. This year, you had Porsche with a very fast driver. You had McLaren with an extremely fast driver. Ferrari, factory drivers. You go through all the marks. Lamborghini, So if you were to ask me which is the most special, it's probably this one, because the competition that we were up against was world class. I really think this year the racing in Pirelli World Challenge was the best that it's been. Like you said, Nissan, a factory effort with Davidson. We're talking guys that are top pros at the top of their game, and so it was a very exciting situation to find ourselves in.
And you got behind the 8 ball. You had the mess at Long Beach, and you had the fire at Barber, but then there was that gap in between those, and you came out. What was the improvement that really went down when you went to Mosport and that event?
You can't even put into words the amount of pressure that was on this team at that time. Brand new car, a lot of money invested, and playing catch up. Really, we didn't test these cars really until mid-February. So. But there was a lot of pressure on us, and then when that car burned to the ground, man, that was the most heartbreaking thing in the world. And then knowing that we're not going to our primary car, we're going to our mule, which is not as good a car. But man, the whole team came together, built that car, and Mosport. If there's a place to make it happen, that was it. That place has always been good to me. I had great confidence, and probably one of the best qualifying laps I put in there, and then. 2 very difficult races with guys that probably had faster cars if they could get in front of me, but they couldn't. So it was, that was really a turning point. Coming back 2 weeks after the fire and then winning both rounds.
Yeah, I was going to say, you always said that Mosport's one of your favorite tracks. Did the car feel good at that one? Because that's a fast place, and coming back like that had to be a little tough on the mind, I would think.
Yeah, no, actually, it was more like going home.
Really?
Having won there so many times, in Corvette, and always having had, good Cadillacs there. It's a place where you need a whole lot of courage and commitment, and aero-wise, it was just a racetrack that suited our car well. You have cars that are slipperier down the straightaway, but the combination between downforce and being slippery, our car was very good there. And you have laps every now and then that you come across, and you look down at your lap time and you're like, wow, that was a great lap, and that in qualifying there was certainly one of those.
I kind of talk about that last race of the year as the points championship was coming down. That had to be an emotional roller coaster as you went in. What was your game plan going in? But then after it got into the race, it changed again.
That was talk about drama. That was like the old ABC Wide World of Sports. The thrill of victory, agony, defeat. I don't know. I remember what it was, but we knew we had to execute, and then on top of being beat by, the Ferrari at Sears Point, they got weight taken off. So it's like, Lord Almighty, let's throw another, wrench into the monkey works. It was funny because all the way up until qualifying, I'd been about a 12th place guy, and then just working with my engineer, looking at data, and all that kind of stuff. That's probably my best qualifying effort ever. At Laguna Seca to put it fifth, and we were very fortunate. Racing is very much a sport where luck does play a part, and Beretta and the Ferrari guys made a mistake, and Beretta qualified 12th. We knew he was fast, but because the other Ferraris were like a second clear of everybody, and but got a great start, moved into second. Took a couple laps for the other Ferrari to come by, and I knew Olivier would be coming, okay, and charging hard. Getting there, getting by are always two different things, but I also knew mathematically, if I'm running third, I'm good. He's got to win that thing to win the championship. And then the question became, would the Ferraris that were leading back up? And I was pretty confident that they would not, because that team wanted to win.
Sure.
When you're racing a guy, okay, when you've made a mistake or you've done something wrong, and you can just go like that, boom, check your mirror, and be like, all right, he's too far to even think about making a move. And that was the shocking thing about what happened at the top of the corkscrew, was he wasn't even close. That was the biggest Hail Mary of all time. And so you don't know what he was thinking, whether it's he's done the math himself and thinks the only way I can win this championship is if I wreck Johnny bad enough he can't go in. We got going again, and I was getting updates from the crew, and knew where I had to get to, and there was no doubt in my mind that even if Olivier hadn't broken at the end, that I would have still finished in front of him points-wise, because my car was still way faster than the guys I was getting by.
What is your feeling now going for number 5? That would be a pretty wild, I don't want to say highlight of your career to win 5 of these in a row, and it's not going to be easy. You already see some of the competition coming in. Boys are working hard over the winter. You're working out. You're getting ready to go. What's your feeling for 2016?
Well, I'd be lying if I didn't say that it brought a tear to my eye when they did away with standing starts. To me, that was one of the coolest aspects of Pirelli World Challenge, and we did our homework on those. There was guys stayed up late to make sure that one aspect of the race was good. I'm optimistic. You know what? It's a funny thing. I find myself now in my career enjoying my racing more than I ever have, working harder at it than I ever have, and I think if I was a bet man, it'd be hard pressed to bet against us. I know there's some very strong guys coming in, and but you know what, we've done it. And the hardest thing in any sport or motorsport is getting the first one. Okay, whether it be football or basketball, it's that first win. Once you get that first win, then to duplicate it, then you just repeat the same formula. So Cadillac Racing has done a great job. The ATSV has proven itself, and 2016 we just do it again.